All right, everybody, welcome to another Bourbon Show. We are doing a little bit different of an episode today, as you can see. Ryan and I are both out and about. We are city dwellers downtown Edwardsville at the Recess Brewery, and we are super excited to have with us today Jose, who is a liquor store manager from my very favorite group of stores. So, Jose, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I manage a little store way out in Lebanon, Illinois.
It's not a little store though. It's a pretty
big store,
there
little town. How about that?
I will agree with you on that.
So, population of Lebanon is probably about 450 to 500 people, with half of those being college kids who are only there two-thirds of the year. But so I manage that store. Within our network of store, we've probably got about 3 or 4 different stores, but I'm the only liquor store in that network, so I get to try all the good stuff, and bourbon's definitely become more of my specialty in the past maybe a year or two.
Yeah, no, Lebanon your store is phenomenal. And if you're in the St. Louis area and you are on Interstate 64, anywhere east of Fairview Heights, you need to stop in and see Jose at his store. And of course, if you live on the east side, then you probably already know where Lebanon is at, and you just need to stop in and see him too. Great store, great selection, great, phenomenal prices. So Jose, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So today we're going to be drinking some Woodford Double Oaked, and not only are we going to be drinking Woodford Double Oaked, we've got 2 different versions of it here. We've got the standard off-the-shelf version, and then a barrel pick that Jose and I both participated in, picking this particular barrel. So, Stephen, what do you think of these labels?
Well, it's always tricky to rate these labels whenever it's basically just font printed on glass for the most part, because the actual label part is the, kind of just the text that's telling you more about the bottle or what's inside of it. I really like the double oaked little sticker, the little flag that's on it. Mm-hmm. I like I saw with Bibb and Tucker how they have the same like black and gold or like that bronze kind of look. And I do like that look together. But since it's just kind of like an informational section of the label and it's not like a grand design or anything, I only give it like a 4 out of 10. This is another one that's kind of like subpar to me, but it looks good overall for the bottle.
Okay. Is there any change on the barrel pick version?
The barrel pick version, I think it looks maybe more uniform. It's maybe a cleaner look to not have that extra little flag, but I don't think it really changes it that much either way. I like how clear it is that it is a barrel pick though. I'll say that. Sometimes you can kind of miss that. So I like if I'm going by and like maybe I'm not familiar with your store and I see that, I immediately know that it's a cool deal I can check out.
Very cool.
We're a big fan of that too.
That's awesome. Now, I may as well just be real forthright here. Ryan and I are very hungover today. Let's see, my Fitbit tells me that I got 3 hours and 4 minutes of sleep last night. And we probably all 3 have COVID right now. I'm just gonna guess, given the circumstances of us staying out really late in Alton, Illinois, at a bar that was open well after they were legally required to close, and the bar did not give a shit.
No,
so
Trump flags hanging in the bar and everything. So that was, but it was the only place open though. What are you gonna do?
So I do want to be forthright with that. But a little bit of hair of the dog that bit you. And I love these glasses, by the way. Ryan and I are both at Recess. So this is where we did quite a bit of our drinking last night too.
And people in the future, this is why I was the only survivor, by the way. This is video evidence of that.
Yeah, I was falling asleep. Our friend Dylan drove us. I paid him to be our DD, and I was falling asleep in and out on the way home, nonstop. I remember Dan yelling at me a couple of times, "Wake up!" I'm like, "Oh."
Elbowing you in the ribs.
Yeah.
So that's our night, but hey, hair of the dog, right? So what do you say we give? Now we're gonna start off by drinking the standard off-the-shelf version of Woodford Double Oaked. So let's give this a taste and see what we think about that.
Cheers.
Cheers. You know, even hungover, that is still a damn good glass.
Chocolate right off the bat.
Oh, chocolate and just like so sweet. Like it's like a decadent dessert type of a bourbon.
That's what I've always defined. I always have called it a dessert bourbon because that's what it is. It's
Yep.
Yeah,
I feel like vanilla over. That's the biggest one I feel like I get.
The vanilla, yeah.
Yeah, rich vanilla, kind of a little bit of a caramel type taste.
Yeah, I get the caramel for sure.
I get brown sugar right off the bat from the smell, like on the nose. A lot of brown sugar, and actually, I get a little bit more. I smell the barrel pick. We'll get to in a second, but I smelled a lot of brown sugar right out of the gate, and I think I smelled just like a little hint of like almost a mustard seed or something like that, where it's a little more of a sour note to it as well. Just on the nose.
Oh no, that is a good call. I would never say mustard seed unless you would have said it, and now that you said it,
it makes sense.
I kind of get it. Yeah.
Yeah, that does make sense. Stephen, have you taken a sip yet?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think of it?
Like you guys said, very decadent. I got chocolate first thing. I didn't really know what to expect from this. I'd had one of the Woodford Reserves before, but I'm not sure which. Not the Double Oaked for sure. So I wasn't really sure what to expect. To be honest, whenever I see Woodford Reserve on the shelf, it's one of those bourbons I never really think about getting. I don't know why. To me, it was just like, it could just kind of blends in with the storefront or something. I don't know. It never stands out. But after the first taste, I immediately was like, I need to change that. This is phenomenal.
Well, the funny thing is, I'm actually not a fan of standard Woodford Reserve at all. Like I like their malted bourbon. Their wheated is okay, but like outside of the Double Oaked, the rest of them, for the most part, I just pass on. Just not a huge fan of them. But the Double Oaked, that's a totally different story. That's
kind of funny that you guys say that, because this is actually the first bottle of regular Double Oaked I've ever bought in my life. But I go for all the other Woodfords all the time.
Yeah,
the wheated especially. I think for $35, depending on where you go.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're always there, you can't. It's not going to blow your mind, but it's totally a good go-to all the time. A regular drinker.
Yeah, I would say it's a solid. Like it would be considered like most people would consider a solid daily type of a bourbon.
Yeah, you're not going to bring out a bottle of Woodford to impress someone, but you want to have one at the bar.
Comparable to like a bullet bourbon. It's kind of the same, similar price range. Kind of, I feel like the most similar. And I love the bottle too. The regular Woodford used to be short and fat back in the day. They made the bottle a little taller and a little thinner. So I'm actually a fan of that bottle a little more, but just for stocking purposes, because that fat bottle, you can't fit a whole 6 cases on the shelf, which is kind of annoying.
So this standard bottle, we always talk about like where we bought the bottle from and how much it cost. This, of course, I got from your Glen Carbon location, Jose, because you guys, I mean, you know how much I stop in there. You probably know the price better than me, but I'm thinking it was $45 or $50.
$50. $49.99.
Okay, so $49.99 for the standard bottle.
Great price.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
we try. That's as a liquor store, we figure the best way to get people to come back is to have good pricing.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys, bourbon guys, you know what you want to pay for it and what you should pay for it. So it just takes 3 or 4 bottles at a ridiculous price to make someone never come back again.
You are dead on correct, and yeah, that's absolutely. I think that people that are like newer to bourbon, that doesn't necessarily hold true, but that's partially because like what you just said, like newer folks don't know what they should be paying. They think that it's normal to pay $60 for a bottle of Eagle Rare, or even $50 is normal for Eagle Rare. Folks, $50 for Eagle Rare should not be normal. I don't care how often you see it. It should not be normal. But anyway, I digress.
We could talk about the Buffalo Trace price list for a whole episode.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Ridiculous it's gotten. So.
Yeah. So Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. It's, in case you didn't know, it's a Brown Forman product. So same company that makes Old Forester. They make that they own Jack Daniels. Ryan, what other big popular ones do they have in their line?
Outside of well, they just got rid of Early Time. Sazerac bought that off them. They had Canadian Mist, which is also bought by them. But they have some tequilas too. El Jimador, Herradura is them as well. Finlandia vodka, which you don't see a lot of, but it's a really good vodka. So they're kind of across the board. But what you see Brown Forman doing is kind of getting rid of their low-end products and going that route of like a kind of like a Pernod or a Diageo. It's only premier products in their catalog now. You're not really going to see a lot of dog shit brands.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they do a good job though. Their whiskeys are great. I love what they've done with Old Forester over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Kind of turned the brand around totally.
I would agree with that completely. Old Forester is head and shoulders above what they were, especially with that whole old Whiskey Rose series and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they really have been kicking ass lately.
Yeah, the new packaging is great too. And I deal with corporate chain type stores, so like Kroger's, Targets, and it was never in any of those stores up until about 2 years ago when they kind of rebranded everything 2-3 years ago, and it flies off the shelves.
Yeah.
People love it. Yeah. First bottled bourbon.
That's what they say. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the mash bill on Woodford, the mash bill for Woodford Reserve Double Oaked, it's 72% corn, 18% rye, and 10% malted barley. The reason they call it Double Oaked is because they distill it, they fill up their oak barrels. It ages in your standard oak barrel, probably charred number 4, I think. So pretty heavy char. But once it's done doing most of its aging in that original barrel, they then put it into a toasted barrel. So your standard oak barrel is going to be like intense heat for a very short period of time. On the other hand, a toasted barrel is heated at a lower temperature for a long period of time and then charred. So what were you saying, Jose?
I said it's almost baked, like they bake the wood.
Yep, exactly. I think 45 minutes is how long it stays hot to get that toasted effect. And then once it's got that toasted effect, then they go ahead and char it too, because you want that charcoal really exposed to the juice once it's in that barrel. So hence the name Double Oaked. And then once it's in that second barrel, I think it averages about 3 or 6 months in those. Do you know, Jose?
It's not. It's under a year for sure. I think it's 6 months, but I don't think there's a definite time frame to it. I think it's whenever the distiller goes by and tastes it. And,
every barrel is going to be different.
But it's going to be a couple months at least. But I think all of them are for sure under that year mark.
Okay.
On a toasted barrel. I will say about Woodford, to go do the tour is so. But they did have one of the coolest tastings I've ever done.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, especially if you're new to bourbon. So what's really cool about Woodford is they're one of the only distilleries that will let you eat something while you're tasting just to see how it changes your taste palette. So the Double Oaked is on their tasting line. And what they'll do is they'll all right, take a sip of the Double Oak. All right, now try this. They have dark chocolate pecan little toffee thing. So all right, eat that. Take another sip and see not only how that changes the bourbon, but how that changes the toffee. And they do that. They have 3 different little snacks that you can have with their 3 different products that they let you taste out. And I mean, I went there. That was my very first time going on the bourbon trail. This is even before I worked here for Bobby. And kind of blew my mind because it really did alter everything. And that was cool to have someone kind of walk you through and show you why that is.
Yeah. So the episode that'll end up getting released tomorrow, so 4 weeks ago when people are listening to this, is an episode that we did on Blanton's.
Okay.
I didn't tell people in advance. I didn't tell Ryan or Steven or Rob in advance that they should have, in my opinion, orange slices available when they're drinking Blanton's. To me, orange slices in Blanton's brings out like the best flavor from the Blanton's that you can possibly find. And I know that that's a really odd pairing, but next time you have a glass of Blanton's, try it with orange. I have been known, this shows my redneck roots, I guess you'd say. When I'm drinking Woodford Double Oaked, I like to eat a chocolate Pop-Tart. I know.
So I'm glad you said that, because my favorite is Oreos. Oreos and Woodford Double Oaked. It just gives me the chocolate and the vanilla, and it works. Yeah.
I know it's odd. I know it's weird, especially and I don't toast the Pop-Tart. I just open up the little aluminum sleeve and take a bite and have a sip. And it pairs ridiculously well. So give that a go. Give it a try. I did not bring Pop-Tarts with me today.
But you probably heard it here first.
I've never heard the Oreos either, so I'm going to give that a go, Jose.
It's good. It's because, like I said, it's a dessert bourbon. So anything that you think of as a dessert comfort food, that's what this is going to help. That's what this is going to accentuate and make better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And I could see maybe having like a bourbon float or something like that with this one. If you have like a good ice cream, it's just so chocolatey. There's just such a great like chocolate syrup, feel to it.
Very different from what I usually drink.
So I already finished off my pour of the standard double oaked. I don't want to start on the store pick, the barrel pick quite yet, because I want us all to drink that at the same time as well. But I also don't want to rush you, Steven.
So catch up is what he's saying.
No. I don't want to rush you. Take your time.
No, I'm good. I'm ready to move on. If you want, I did heavy pours on both of these. I was not intending to drink them all right here, right now. So.
Oh, okay. Well, Ryan and I are still going hard, right?
It is funny to me that on the day we record at 2 p.m., like our earliest recording ever, we are drinking probably the most bourbon we ever have.
I fly back tonight. Hopefully they let me on the plane. We'll see.
Oh yeah.
I parked at the airport too, so I'm driving home with one eye closed.
I think it's the it's the COVID.
It's the COVID
is what is going to keep you from flying again.
So Jose, I got to ask you a question. I want to hear from you. What's your least favorite type of customer that walks into Lebanon?
Man, well,
if you want to give a name of an individual human, that's even better.
Listen. I don't. Well, I do have the name of an individual human actually. There's two. I'd say there's two. There's the regular, who comes in multiple times a day, always short. You know the guy I'm talking about, the very stereotypical, hey, let me sit outside the liquor store, try to get people's money, go in, get my one beer at a time so I don't have to share with anyone back at home, and then come back in 2 hours and do the whole thing again.
Yeah.
That drives me nuts a little bit. And then it's the entitled bourbon guy, actually, that just, so like I said, this guy, Scott, that, he's a name that I remember, and I haven't even seen him in a year and a half probably. So this was sometime last year when Elmer T. Lee had a release out. Mm-hmm. I had some in the store. This guy comes in for the first time. I never recognized him or whatever. And he's like, hey, you got any Elmer T. Lee? I don't lie to the guy. Yeah, I do. I have Elmer T. Lee, but how we handle it is we sell it to regular customers. Yeah. So if you want to start shopping at the store or whatever coming in, I will totally hold a bottle for you. Dude flips his lid, screams at me, yells at me for probably about 25, 30 minutes. How can you do that? How can you have it and not sell it to me? I'll pay you this. I'll pay you this and that, whatever. No, man. Sorry, can't do it. Leaves without buying anything. Calls me half an hour later, yells at me some more.
Oh, my God.
Comes in the next day, being like, oh, so did you change your mind? Are you going to sell me that Elmer T. Lee? No, I'm not. Writes a bad review on Facebook. This place is the worst. Never shop here. I've been a regular customer for so and so long, and he won't sell me anything, even though it was the first time I ever saw the guy.
Yeah.
So we deleted the comment. We almost never do that unless it's something like this.
Yeah.
That guy. I mean, I still to this day, if you were to come into the store asking me for anything, I would just be like, "Oh, hi, Scott. Bye." You know, that drives me nuts.
How do you feel about people who, like, I don't know, I'm going to be a little bit of an exaggeration here, but pokes their head in the door and says, "Hey, you got any Blantons?" No? Okay. And then, like, turn around, like that's all they're there for. It's just like
that were to bug me. If that was something that would annoy me, I would probably be dead right now, because that's 25 people almost every day.
Seriously?
Yeah.
How many phone calls do you get every day about Blantons?
Well, so phone calls have become a lot less because people know I straight up lie to them on the phone.
Yeah.
Again, I'm a pretty open person. So if you call me, I will tell you that I am lying to you. It's like, no, I don't want to tell you anything over the phone. Come into the store, you know? But I do get, like I said, I'm not even exaggerating when I say it's 20 to 25 people almost every single day that walk in the store. Hey, do you have Blantons? Hey, do you have Wellers? No? Okay, bye.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, if you want some, maybe you should spend money at the store.
Well, and that's what I tell everybody. I was like, no, we sell them to our regulars. That's it. You've got to be a regular customer. And so because I manage the store, I'm there 55, 60 hours a week. If I don't know you, you do not shop there.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we handle it.
The thing that sets you guys apart, in my opinion, is how well you take care of your regulars. I feel like because you guys have trust in me and the other regulars, we, of course, have a tremendous amount of trust with you guys.
Yeah.
And to me, it boils down to being what I've said on a million different episodes so far, and that bourbon is all about the relationship. Everything from when it's distilled to when it is sold to when it is drank, it is better if it's based on a relationship.
Yeah. I wouldn't say, but I'd say the whole liquor industry is based on relationships. Forget, what about bourbon, tequila, vodka, beer, whatever? It's generally 80% of people, you're not drinking alone.
Yeah.
And if you're not drinking alone, you're not going to make it alone. If you're not going to make it alone, you're not going to try to sell it alone. It's a very communal industry. It's about who you know and all that.
How you treat each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's about having a good time, That's it. The angry drunk is not going to make it far in this world, in the liquor world. You want to be an angry drunk, you want to be a miserable human being, that's fine. But if you're willing to make that relationship, you're willing to just be a decent person, you'll find doors opening for you everywhere with the liquor world.
Yeah. Yep.
How has I'm curious how the last few months has kind of changed your business, Jose. How has COVID affected those kind of things? Because of alcohol, like we're talking about, is so much about like these gatherings and whatnot. How have you seen that impact sort of the customer base, if at all?
So the day COVID, like the day Illinois first shut down, was the busiest day the store's seen in 3 years. Period. Hands down. I mean, by almost $5,000. By not a small,
Wow.
So that very first day was panic, and it was coping. I would say that my regulars have become more regular. I guess I've definitely seen an uptick in sales and drinking and all of that stuff. But again, I don't think it's people drinking alone. I think it's more just communal coping together. You're drinking with the people in your house. We're doing this here right now. And how many other Zoom tastings have gone on since this happened or whatever? We can drink the same thing in two different spots and still have the same experience.
Yeah.
So that's still, you still see that community coming together, I guess.
Those first 2 weeks, it's just insane. It was like OND, October, November, December. So most liquor stores, companies, they'll do chunk of their business in those 3 months, right? So usually right after Thanksgiving, that month up until New Year's, it's mayhem.
Yeah.
Absolute mayhem. And when COVID first hit, it was like that times 10.
Right.
I mean, and there, you still see in the market, there's you guys probably didn't get Everclear for a couple months because it was just wiped out everywhere because everyone's using hand sanitizer. It's crazy times. It's for liquor stores with, bars kind of being half open. I mean, probably the golden age of selling liquor right now.
And I guess that's what it is the bars not being open or half open, or, whatever, wherever you live, however small it is or however much they care. But yeah, I don't know. People got to deal with it somehow, I guess,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine the day prohibition ended. Like, how
Yeah.
insane
Oh my God.
that must have been.
No, it was probably not as insane as the day before it started.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Very good point. Well, hey, do we want to move on to the barrel pick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ryan and I have already poured ours.
I didn't realize how big of a pour I did.
Yeah, that's
Enjoy.
kind of what I'm dealing with here too. So
Yeah.
don't wait for me. I still have some of the regular, just so you can smell them right off the bat.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even know it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I wanted to make sure that we did it side by side, especially for somebody like Steven, who hasn't necessarily, so Steven's a little bit newer to bourbon. And they could not be further, they're you may as well be drinking two totally different brands at this point when you're drinking most barrel picks versus the standard off the shelf version of it. And Jose, when you mentioned the nose just a second ago, it took me back to when we actually did this pick, how just blown away everybody was about the nose of this barrel pick. As soon as we sniffed it, everybody was just like, oh my God, that smell is so phenomenal. There was a little bit of difference in people's picks as far as which tasted better. But everybody at the table, as far as I remember, agreed that the nose on this one just blew everybody away.
As far as the taste difference goes, I think I remember I was the only one that was kind of divided from the rest of it.
I mean, I wasn't going to say that, but yes.
Yeah, it's just me. So it's okay. Because my personal taste profile is not this. That's why this is the first bottle of Double Oaked I've ever bought, is because I like ryes. I like, barrel-proof bourbons. I like that heat and that spice and that bite. And this is not that,
It is not.
But that being said, I'm glad that I did not stick with my original, that we ended up picking this one, because this is phenomenal. It is, especially having it side by side here again.
Yeah.
Head and shoulders, I think, above the rest. Is because where the original is that vanilla chocolate bomb, this one is a little bit more balanced. You got I know what the official tasting notes are, but what I taste is something in Cuban food we eat a lot is fried bananas. And that's what I smell is, that it's fried banana. So
I can see that.
Banana note, I feel like, is across the board for brown forman bourbons and whiskeys.
100%. I think it's a strain or something. I don't know, but
yeah, because when I drink Jack, all I taste is bananas.
Yeah,
the only thing.
Yeah. So, Stephen, how do you like this one compared to the off-the-shelf version?
I'm still trying to figure that out. I think I agree with Jose, or at least what I think Jose is getting at is that I think I do prefer the standard to the taste, but obviously the smell is amazing when it first hits you.
You actually prefer the taste of this one?
I think I do. I think that the store pick is a lot smoother, but I also kind of lose the upfront flavor. That
you don't get hit in the face with that chocolate vanilla like you do right at the start of the other one, for sure.
It's almost a little bit, I wouldn't say fleeting, but it's almost like sometimes a whiskey can be, in my limited experience, a whiskey can be so smooth that it almost becomes like a fleeting taste. And to me, it's more aftertaste heavy or finish heavy, I guess, than it is the upfront taste that I really enjoy with the Double Oaked standard.
Oh,
that is kind of an interesting opinion.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting because, okay, so bourbon, it's taste, it's opinion. Nobody's wrong. Everybody's right because it's fucking opinion, right? So, I would drink the barrel pick forever and ever over the standard version. To me, it is head and shoulders in every single possible way better than the standard version.
I think so too.
But again,
like I said, it's
that's just my profile. Balance, you said?
Yeah, that's you're cutting in and out again a little bit, so I think I might have cut you off. My
Sorry.
bad. But yeah, I to clarify, I am picking the store pick as my better tasting one for sure, because like I said, it's not all sweet all the time, and that's not me. I can't do all sweet all the time. I like this dried fruit is a tasting note for this. I get a lot of that dried fruit, so you get a sweetness, but it's like an off sweet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like it a lot more than the regular old, because I feel like this is something that the regular old I'll have a glass of after dinner or something, and that'll be it. I won't go back to it again for a week or two. But I bought this bottle maybe just earlier this week, and we're already that far down into it. I'm drinking this actually. So
yeah. What about you, Ryan? How do you like? If you had to pick one over the other, which would it be, and why?
I'm actually with Steven on this. The first time I've ever had Woodford Double Oaked is today, by the way. I've only had their malt, bourbon, and rye. I've never gone above the $35 bottles that they have. I love that caramel and chocolate taste from that first one. Something about it, so smooth. I loved it. I like this a lot too. I get more like a dried fruit type feel to it. I got a little apple on the nose at first. I get a little cherries, and I like it a lot. Something about that mainline double oak one though. I loved it. It was really good. Not to say I don't like this one. I love this one too. It's great, but
I talked to a lot of my customers about this too, because I do taste things at the store, so I do have an open bottle of this right now. If you were to come in, I'll be like, yeah, don't believe me, just try it yourself. And everyone and their brother talks about how Woodford Double Oaked is one of their favorite bourbons ever, but it has always been on like our bottom 5 for sales. No one ever buys it. Everyone talks about how much they love it, but no one ever gets it. Wow. This Double Oaked, our store pick, I'm seeing repeat buys. Granted, it could just be because it's a store pick and you can only get it here in Glen Carbon or Maryville. But still, it's the same guy coming to buy another bottle or 2 bottles whenever we've sold this guy maybe 1 Double Oaked ever. So I am noticing that.
There's a decent chance that once this recording actually gets posted and is available, there still may be some available.
Yeah, there is a decent chance. However, we did sell that very first week that we got it in. We sold 100 bottles within a week.
Wow.
So, the bulk of the sales is right off the bat. So
yeah. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was. This is one of the faster moving picks we've done. What's crazy to me about this year, and I was just thinking about that, is we're doing a total of 9 single barrels this year. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. So I know you had the Weller Full Proof. You had the Old Forester 1920 or 10.
Old Forester was just Old Forester single barrel.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Okay.
They label it under that single barrel name.
Oh, okay. My bad. You had the Larceny. Then this one. What else has there been?
All right. So, Old Forester, Elijah Craig, the first one.
Oh, that's right.
Larceny. We've got this Double Oaked. We picked a Stranahan's, single malt American whiskey out of Colorado.
Yeah, I was at that one. I forgot.
You sure were. Yeah. That first Elijah Craig that sold out in about 2 weeks. So we've got another one coming that's already been picked. Knob Creek. There is the distillery in Indiana called Starlight Distillery.
Yep.
I've actually never heard of them. So if you got some info on that, I'd love it. Carl T. Haber is the bourbon. So we're going to go pick that. That's where are we at, 8 now. And then 9 is going to be our the old Rebel Yell 4-year weeded.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm excited for that because I've never even seen that. So I'm stoked to try that out. So
yeah.
How the allocated stuff works is we basically have a wish list, and we send this wish list out to not my salesman, but my salesman's boss. My salesman doesn't even have this in their tablet or whatever. And then they respond to us like, yeah, I can do 1 bottle of this, I can do 3 bottles of that or whatever. And then sometimes those bottles that they send end up being Southern Illinois store picks, picked by the distributor.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how the process worked. Like, you guys actually go down to the distillery, or if they bring the samples to you guys. I wasn't sure.
It's both. Whenever we can go down, we want to, because it's just fun. It's a great trip. We drink on the way down there. We get there, they wine and dine us. We drink on the way back. It's just always a good time. So that's why we prefer to go down. As far as Brown-Forman actually does the best tasting experience, because when they send us samples, they send an expert along with the samples to walk us through it. It's not just like they send us some pints and we're tasting it by ourselves in the store or whatever. They actually sent, her name is Catlin. That's what she does for Brown-Forman, is she's the single barrel program girl. So she goes to all these places and she's the expert. She knows a lot. She was super helpful and informative. She knows what other people's tastes are, whatever. So she actually sat there with us and walked us through the tasting and was like, hey, taste it first. And all right, here's my little note card with the official tasting notes, et cetera, et cetera. So that was, Brown-Forman kind of kicks ass on that department.
Yeah.
But
now that you mention it too, when I was down at Old Forester, I think it's probably been 3 or 4 years now, but I believe they had food along with their bourbons to taste as well. It's pretty cool. We did the tour, and then they like shuffled us into like almost like a boardroom with this huge long table, and kind of like office like, and you feel like you're a manager for Old Forester or something, and you sit down, and they had someone else separate in there talk about the whiskeys along with our tour guide who also did. But I thought that was really cool.
I love their new facility. It's such a nice place.
Yeah.
When we did our Old Forester pick, we actually went there. And so they let us taste it in the middle of the Rick House. And that was
really?
Yeah, that was way
cool. That's cool.
Right downtown Louisville?
Yeah. Right across from Merle's Whiskey Kitchen, or it's a great area right there. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, they like burn the barrel right in front of you.
They
set
did
it on fire. It's really cool.
It's a super cool tour. And what's cool about Old Forester also is that they're on their own cooperage. Like, they make their own barrels, and they're at that little distillery. You can see them make a barrel if you're lucky enough to time it right.
Yeah.
So
you could try the mash, like, because and you go there and you can just scoop some out, and they're like, oh yeah, try it. Taste it. What do you think of it?
That's what I was kind of saying before too with Woodford. Some of these places like Old Forest or wherever, they put on a great tour just like that, where the Woodford tour was kind of lame in comparison. But then where Woodford shines is they did an awesome tasting with the chocolates and everything. Where the Old Forester had the nice facility. They did put out little snacks and stuff, but nothing like the tasting that you were going to have at Woodford.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We're on the deck to do a barrel proof pick, because that's the new thing this year is Old Forester single barrel proof. So I don't think we're going to be able to do it this year, but hopefully early next year we're going to be able to actually go down there and pick that out.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, so Jose, a second ago you were talking about the 9 barrels that got picked this year. When do you expect the other bottles to be available, like the Stranahans that we already picked? We just finalized the Knob Creek last week. Yep. Elijah Craig, you guys did about a month ago, if I remember correctly.
It's about a 3-month turnaround. I actually think Stranahans is going to be here next week.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Okay.
Everything works out, it'll be here on Thursday. But the Starlight, the Rebel Yell are the only 2 that have yet to be picked.
Okay.
So those won't show up until like December, probably. Christmas time, maybe. All the others will be here within a month or 2.
Oh, okay.
So it's there now. Go out.
If you're listening, if you're listening to this, stop by and you can pick up that Stranahan's pick. The Elijah Craig will probably be in by the time people are listening to this too.
So yeah, Stranahan's, we're looking at September 23rd, 24th. Elijah Craig is probably going to be the last week of October or the first week of November. And Knob Creek is probably going to be like the last week of November, first week of December.
Christmas gift.
Hey, Jose, I had one other question I wanted to make sure to ask you. So you brought up the relationship aspect about bourbon one more time. For listeners, what's the best way, if you're newer to bourbon or new to an area, new to a location, what's the best way for them to like show, hey, he's not a whiskey douche. I'm going to take care of him, and he's going to start getting access to that stuff that regulars have access to.
So
how does that?
How do you become a regular? Is that kind of what you're asking?
Because you can't tell. I'm confident that there are people who spend more money at a particular liquor store, but don't have the relationship that somebody else has. And the guy with the relationship probably has as good of access or better, because there's a relationship and it's not just pure fiscally.
Yeah.
There's also a good chunk of people, though, who are just clueless with, they could shop at the same store, but if they're assholes or just asking for, where's Blanton's, when are you going to get Blanton's? There's a way of going about it. And from what I see in the market, it's a lot of people who don't know how just to treat, a manager or an owner of a liquor store.
Well, and so that's what I was just about to say. I'm kind of a dork for my personal life, so I play a lot of video games. So do you know what the term NPC means?
Yeah, non-player character.
If you walk in,
I didn't know what that meant.
So it's the NPC, non-player character. That's when you're playing a game, you click on them and they have the same response every time, and your response to them are only in amount of 3. You can't actually interact with them or whatever. It's structured. You are the store guy. I would like to buy something. Okay, goodbye. All of my regulars don't just see me as the store guy. They see me as Jose. We're interacting as people. So that would be my number one big recommendation, is if you come to the store and you look at me as Jose the person, not Jose the liquor store manager, I'm going to give you whatever the fuck you need, because that's what's big for me. And that's what's kind of telling about the person as a whole. If you understand that you're coming here and you're talking to me, the guy, not me, the liquor store manager, because I'm a person, right?
Yeah.
If you come in and you talk to me, hey, I've never ever had Weller Special Reserve, I really, really want it, I will hold it for you. That's what we do. We will take care of you. If I don't have it right here, right now, I'll get it for you later, because we're interacting as people. If you're just going to come in, hey, you got Blanton's and Wellers, hey, I will give you $500 for a bottle of Blanton's. No, I don't really give a shit how much money you're going to give me. I give a shit about, who are you? Are you going to come take care of me? Or are you not?
Right.
Yeah. A lot of desperation out there too with people.
I honestly don't know if yeah, there is, but I don't know if I'd call it desperation. The word that I would use is entitlement. I think these people they're used to being like, let me pay you $300 for this because I have it. And someone is saying, yeah, because that's what they're looking at, is the dollar sign. But generally that's not what we're looking at, because we're not, one purchase helps us out that day or that week. A regular customer helps us out that year.
Yeah.
It kind of demeans what you're trying to do as a store too, right? To have somebody just assume that it's all about the profit for you as well, right? To
Right.
Sort of think in those terms, I guess.
Yeah.
I want to share a situation that I had with Bobby one time. So I went to the back office in Glenmart, and
yeah, you're part of Friday things, right?
I stop in occasionally, not quite as often as I would like to. But if I'm driving past and I see, same way with Maryville or BP with the Glenmart location, if I'm driving past and I see Bobby's truck, I'm gonna stop in to say hi to Bobby.
Yeah.
Even if I wasn't planning on stopping and I'm not going to buy anything, I'm just going to stop in and say hi because he's a good dude. And if I'm ever over in Lebanon, I do the same thing. It's just I very rarely get over to Lebanon.
Because why would you?
Yeah, exactly. But I stopped in Glenmart, and I was actually there to buy a bottle, and I realized that I was about to be out of both Weller 12 and E.H. Taylor single barrel. So I go around to the back, and I walk in, and I'm like, hey, Bobby, do you happen to have any Weller 12 or E.H. Taylor single barrel available? And he goes, yeah, I got both of them. Let me grab them for you. And I said, no, I'm not going to buy one of each. I need both of them. But for right now, why don't I just get the E.H. Taylor single barrel? Because if you've got another regular coming in and he needs one of them, I want to make sure you can take care of him too. And like, you could tell that was like a really refreshing.
It is. It's so nice to hear. Yeah.
Like, because I realize that Bobby's got and you have lots of regulars. I don't want to hoard stuff. I don't like. I can get Weller 12 at a different time. I'm shorter. I was shorter on single barrel at the moment. The Weller 12 can wait, but I'm not going to grab both of them just because I can.
Yeah.
And I think that I think there's a lesson in that. So I call them label chasers. It's somewhat derogatory, but like people who are they automatically believe that anything Buffalo Trace puts out is automatically better than anything anybody else puts out.
Yeah.
Like, I have heard people try to make the claim that Weller Special Reserve is better than Maker's Mark 46. I'm sorry. If you do that, if you do a blind taste test and you pick Weller Special Reserve, there's something wrong with your taste buds. The Maker's Mark 46, 90% of people, in my opinion, are going to find the Maker's better.
So it's a super big diamond right now. So I'm not sure if any of you guys got to try that Weller single barrel yet. Have any of you?
I've not had. No, I haven't been able to find it yet.
It's garbage. I mean, I don't want to go so far to say it's garbage, but it's retailing for like 150. Some people are selling it for 400. It's just not good, you know?
Yeah.
But it's going to sell out everywhere it goes because it's a Weller.
Yep. All right, so let's rate them. What do we want to let's rate this one first. Let's rate the standard version first.
Which is really going to be the rating to most people listening to this. If you either got a bottle.
Yeah.
Good point. So what's everybody going to rate it? Steven, what do you like? What do you think?
Well, again, just to reiterate one more time, I really like the standard at least a little bit more than I like the barrel pick, just because I think the barrel pick. I know that you guys were saying a lot about the sweetness early on and how there's a lot more upfront sweetness, and I really find that I think the second one has it's maybe a little more savory, and I just think the sweetness comes from a different place in the barrel pick. I think there's a lot more honey that provides the sweetness in the barrel pick, and I actually prefer this one not having as much honey sweetness to it. So with the standard pick, I think that I'm going to give it something like a 7.5, a 7.5. I think it's right up there with one of my favorites so far, but I just don't think I would drink it as much as something like a Smoke Wagon Small Batch. It's obviously more available than Smoke Wagon Small Batch, but it would be on select occasions I would drink this. Back to what Jose was saying about how sometimes people come in and they all like it, but they don't really buy it that much. I think I would have only a few situations where I would actually drink this quite a bit.
Gotcha. Now, what about this one, Steven?
And then for the barrel pick, I'm going to give that one, again, it wasn't like a significant amount more that I like the standard. I would give that probably like a 7.3. It's still one of my favorites that I've had, but I give it just a notch lower.
Cool. Jose, what about you? Let's go to you. I'm just going to go in a circle.
So I would put the regular double oaked. Yeah, I'd probably flip both of them in that 7.5 range. I think that's actually really fair. My issue with the regular double oaked, the sweet one that you like more, is I would not drink that all the time. I'm having a glass or two a week max because it's so sweet for me. The double oaked could be a little bit more of a regular thing. Our store pick could be a little bit more of a regular thing for me because it's not just blowing you out of the water with that sweetness. So I would probably put our store pick at 7.5 and the regular at a 7.
Cool. Ryan, how about you?
Yeah.
Regular double oak has been my favorite so far. I'm just going out to say it. It's an 8.4 for me, the regular.
Damn.
Fucking loved it. I just poured myself another like half cup of it. Can't wait till TSA tells me to get the fuck out of here. You drunken asshole. But and I'll give the store pick a 7.6. I really like the store pick as well. Or the barrel pick, excuse me.
Well,
Yeah,
store
some of
pick
that's
is more accurate because it's not one barrel.
Yeah, sure.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, something about the chocolatey vanilla aspect of that. I really like. I could drink this all the time. Like, I don't know. I just love it. The store pick, I like the smell of it. Like, it was like a caramel apple smell that I got like right off the bat, which I really liked. And now that it's getting cooler, with Halloween coming up and everything, so I think like around this time of year, with what your guys' store picks like, I mean, with fall coming, it's a really good bourbon. It's a really good bourbon. But I give the nod to the regular double oak though, just because that chocolate vanilla taste.
Very cool. So I'm actually going to use the exact same ratings as Steven, but I'm going to flip them. Yeah. For me, the the store pick is a 7.5. It is really high on my list of favorite bourbons. I think that Woodford Reserve Double Oaked is phenomenal every day, all the time. It's an everyday drinker if that's your thing. If you like a sweeter bourbon, but I do think that the store pick is a little bit better, because to me that store pick of the double oaked is like the best possible version of double oaked. Maybe it's not as sweet, but it's more balanced. It's smooth. It's 94 proof, I think. 90.4 proof.
Same as the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're both phenomenal bourbons. Great pours. Have them at after dinner, maybe with dinner. Depends.
Chocolate cake, man.
Definitely after dinner.
When you cut your slice of chocolate cake at the end of the night, pour this too.
Correct. That's exactly right.
When you're
some Portillo's chocolate cake, Jose?
Sir, you know it.
I like how you guys are like, whenever you're having your chocolate cake, you're sitting down, you're having your decadent, 5-star meal, and Dan's just like, hey, you crack over some chocolate Pop-Tarts.
Fuck yeah. You ain't got to be fancy about it. Eat a goddamn
One of us has kids,
Pop-Tart.
you can tell.
Yeah. I feel so bad for you today. I didn't know you only slept 3.5 hours. That's brutal.
My Fitbit says 3 hours and 4 minutes. That's
Jesus.
Yeah.
And you're still on time. Look at you.
Weird,
you
right?
Overachiever.
Almost like I give a shit, Ryan.
You do give a shit. Dude, I was all anxiety in the car coming on the way here. You could ask Nolan and Andrea. Hey, I didn't want to tell you about this, but now because I was late and you made me feel bad, I paid Troxel $75 to drive us home for the sole reason to drop you off in Maryville. And I wasn't going to tell you that, but now I am because you made me feel bad about being late. So I paid $75 for him to drop you off in Maryville.
Sounds like you got finessed by Troxel, really.
Yeah, no shit. I thought he was your friend.
I know. He's broke. He's always broke. He needs the money. I was like, hey, how does 50 sound? He's like, yeah, that's all right. I'm like, fine, 75. I'm now offering $1 more. He's like, all right. Dude, when Nolan was taking forever to get ready today, I was like, we got to go. Dan's going to yell at me. and then his wife's like, you sound like some abused woman getting hit by her husband. It's like, you're scared. I'm like, I just want to get there. I don't want to let him down.
Well, Ryan, if you'd quit fucking up, you wouldn't have to worry about it. You bring this on yourself.
I was ready at 12:45.
You bring this on yourself, Ryan.
I did it.